along with them. But it was all in my head. I've never spoken a single word. Out of My Mind by Sharon Draper. I can't walk. I can't talk. I can't feed myself or take myself to the bathroom. It's like I live in this big cage and there's no door and no key and no way to tell anyone how to get me out. When people look at me, they see a girl strapped to a pink wheelchair. And her head wobbles a little bit and sometimes she drools, but sometimes people don't even bother to ask my name. Like it's not important or something. And it is. My name is Melody. And sometimes people stare at me. Other times people point. But the worst is when people just look away. I suppose that it's a good thing not being able to forget anything. I have every instant of my life crammed inside my head, and there is no delete button. I remember everything. I remember when my mom brought me home from the hospital. Her face was full of smiles, but her eyes were full of worry. And I remember when I was little, my dad used to videotape everything, like I mean everything. He'd even videotape me sleeping. As I got older, he was waiting for me to do more stuff, like walk or talk or even toddle a little, but I never did. Most people don't understand the power of words, but I do. Thoughts need words and words need a voice. And the only voice that I've got is this large plexiglass tray attached to my wheelchair. When I was little, my mom put some words on it, so I've got some nouns and some adjectives, and there's an alphabet strip at the top, but the majority of my life, I've had the communication skills of a little kid. Everyone, even a little kid, needs to say more than this in a day, and it's no wonder that everyone thinks I'm stupid. I can make out 2 vowel sounds pretty clearly. I can manage an and if I focus really, really hard, I can manage a but that's it. One day, Miss V was flipping through the channels and she stopped at this thing about this guy named Stephen Hawking. And he's so smart. He's so smart and everyone knows it. And she asked me if that was kind of like me. So I pointed at the yes on my board. But then I had to point at the no. I'm smart, but nobody knows it. And then she asked me if I could rather walk or talk, which one I do. And I immediately pointed at talk. Talk, 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 just for one moment. In my dreams, I can do anything. I can run so fast, and I'm in gymnastics, and I never fall off the balance beam, and I have friends, and we talk to each other for hours at night. But then I wake up, and reality sets in, and I realize that I have to be fed and dressed and taken to the Happy Face room at Spalding Street Elementary School. I was really excited when my mom first enrolled me there. It was a school full of kids, ordinary kids. Kids who sat together at lunch and played together at recess, but they were kids who, for the most part, ignored kids like me. They put me in a special program, so I thought I'd learn new things every day, but it's mostly just something to get me out of the house. And we don't really move on like other classes. We just do the same thing we did last year with a different teacher. So after Mr. Billup and Miss Hyatt and Miss Tracy was Miss Gross. She started out every single day by playing her favorite CD. I hated it. It consisted of songs like The Itsy Bitsy Spider being sung by children who couldn't sing. So naturally, she'd play it over and over and over again because it's cute. And then she'd move on to the alphabet. The alphabet with third graders. I wondered if she would teach able-bodied third graders like that, and I figured she probably wouldn't. And the more I thought about it, the angrier that I got. All right, children, this is the letter B. B. Everyone say it with me now. No one in the class responded. I guess that day, I just had enough. I may not be able to talk, but I can certainly make a lot of noise. So I screamed. I screamed because I couldn't tell her that this stuff was just plain stupid. I screamed because I couldn't tell her to shut up. And I screamed because I would never be able to tell anyone what I was really feeling. And that made me cry. So I was screaming and crying and throwing a fit like a 2-year-old, and then my tornado explosion took over. So I was flailing and jerking, and I kicked my legs so far that they popped out of the street, so we're holding them down. And Miss Phillips was trying to calm me down, but I didn't want to be calmed down. I heard my mom on the phone, and she got here faster than I thought it was humanly possible. And it wasn't until she got there that anyone actually thought to sit me up and ask me what had happened. So I took a deep breath, and I pointed at the alphabet on my board. I pointed and I screeched, and she didn't understand. What exactly was it that you guys were working on here today? Oh, I believe it was the letter B. Yes, B. These children are learning the basics. The letter B. But it's February. Are you trying to tell me you've been working on the alphabet for 6 months and you haven't gotten past the letter B? Who are you to bore these children with mindless activities? Can't you see that Melody is extremely smart and you've been going over the alphabet for 6 months with her? Look, have you ever just been sitting in traffic and thought, if I have to sit here for one more moment, I'm going to explode? Or heard some jingle on the radio and thought, if I have to hear that one more time, I'm going to scream? That's exactly what you did to Melody. Melody thought to herself, if I have to sit here for one more moment and listen to the alphabet again, I'm going to scream. You can't blame her, can you? You can't blame her because you've been treating her like she's stupid. Calm down. These children, they have to learn at a different rate than the other children. They don't learn like other children because they're limited by mental and physical capabilities, and you'll just have to learn to accept that. No. Melody can't walk. Melody can't talk, but I am accepting nothing. She's extremely smart. She can add and subtract numbers in her head, and she knows hundreds of words on sight. And you haven't realized she's past the alphabet. You're going to have to realize that she's smart. You're going to have to learn to accept that. And then my mom pulled me out of there. I never saw my mom do anything like that. And I realized she was right. I can't walk. I can't talk. But I used to think that no one could see just how smart I was, or even my capabilities past my exterior. But now I think my mom is beginning to understand.